Hello everybody, welcome back for some StarCraft 2. We are here with a Classic in the blue going up against a Reynor in the red. Reynor going for that 15 hatch perhaps. Because we see no Overlord at all, yeah, he doesn't want to get blocked by this annoying probe. And this is the Katowice qualifier, the closed portion. I think the winner of this did qualify. And it's the Europe qualifier, so Classic playing with a little bit of lag, but of course Classic, one of those great Protoss players that, if I'm correct, he recently returned from military duty, similar to Stats. He's trying to get back on that horse. I like this recent development of this hatchery before Overlord. Because we've been doing 16 hatch for so long right now that seeing this, like, it's an innovation, right? Like, probably a variation, but still. When you look at Protoss, they're always going to be doing the same thing, right? Comes the Nexus, and then we get the core, and then we get the second gas, and then we get the pylon. Everything is set in stone for the Protoss, but the Zergs, they changing it up a little bit. Not to mention potential early pool plays, etc. So, I like seeing that, and I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around what the advantages are of this early hatchery. Well, we have the fact that you don't get blocked, that's nice. You get an earlier queen, so you might not need as many lings early to defend your hatchery. Which is especially true with like Reapers versus Terran, for example. You don't need your Zerglings anymore, because you just have queens on both bases before the Reaper can really do any damage to your drones. And in ZVP, I guess this is the big advantage, is that your hatchery doesn't gets displaced. And so it makes the Adept Oracle play a lot weaker. Which I guess some Protosses are probably just really good at doing annoying Adept all-ins or Adept run-bys and using their Oracles to really abuse that misplaced hatchery. I mean, it's bad enough that we are doing this build, right? We take our third base. Maybe there's even Protoss players that send out their probe and then they build a pylon and then they block it? It's possible, I guess. That would be really annoying as a Zerg player. I've never seen it, but it might have happened on ladder a bunch. And that this is the adaptation before you get to tournament, right? The Adept does get into the main base. We see 2 drones on gas, and 100 gas just got mined. 1 Zergling goes down to the Adept. Oh, nice Spore Crawler morph there. No drones go down. The Adept also stays alive. Only 1 Zergling was lost. We still have 3 drones in gas, so don't have to pull out after getting that speed up. Although maybe Reynor is looking at a Roach Warren here. voidray coming out. No third base for Classic yet, but he does have the money for it. So it's either going to be a bunch of gateways here. Yep, bunch of gateways before that Nexus. And Reynor scouts here with his Zerglings, like, okay. No Nexus just yet, and now the probe does come in. Readying up that Nexus at like 4 for 10. 420 would be more pleasurable. Ooh, voidray gets another kill. That's 3 kills on the voidray already. Huh. How does that happen? Look at this. It has 4 kills. It's 2 creep tumor kills, I guess. Okay. We'll learn something today. Creep tumors give kills. But of course they are not a unit. Oracle comes in. Gets shooed away. We have a Roach Warren and an Evo Chamber coming up, and Lair as well, so that could just be speed roaches. We could even be thinking about Swarm Host from 3 base. Always gotta put in that Swarm Host card. Just 1 lottery ticket for the Swarm Host, baby. couple more gases going down, so we have 4 gas now. Let's see what Reynor wants to do with 4 gas. Oracle just flying around trying to get something done, but that's 0 kills, and I mean, all it's going to get is a little bit of scouting. Nice positioning here from Reynor with the queens. Lair about to finish up. This could be a taxi? Don't think so. More drones coming out from Reynor, being sure that he can resaturate all of those gases and his minerals, and now also gets a 4th base. Oh my god, that's so many drones from Reynor. Holy moly. That's so many drones. I'm not sure if he was just kind of sussy about what Classic is doing. And wow, speed about to finish here, or charge for the Zealots. We only... Oh my god, it's an all-in. Oh my god, Classic, you dirty, dirty boy. Look at this, he's not mining any gas at all. This is just charge lots. And Reynor just made like 13 drones. Oh no. Natural doesn't have a wall. War Prism might be in peril. Zealots in the main. War Prism still alive. Or Zealots in the natural, actually. Oracle was in the main. And 6 drones did die, but the rest evacuates. And we just need to see all of these roaches pop out and really start to kite out these Zealots. And here's the War Prism. Oh my god, the Queens actually got targeted down by the Zealots. Good targeting by Classic, because if this War Prism goes down, the rush is kind of over. Oh my god, this one queen! Oh, the War Prism actually goes down, and now, just now, Classic starts a second War Prism. I feel like that's kind of a mistake. Why not just make a second one? And, oh my god, lots of Zealots here, but they get stuck behind the whole position drones. Very nice job by Reynor. Whole position drones, of course, have way lower target priority to A-moved Zealots than the A-moved Roaches have. So the Roaches were pulling the aggro from the Zealots, and then the drones were just kind of in the way, but the Zealots couldn't quite realize. And now Classic knows that the rush is kind of over, but the drone count has, or the worker count is equalized for both sides. More Zealots coming out from Classic. He's going for round number 2. We do have +1 range and roaches here done for Reynor, squeaking out a few drones because he wants to make sure that he has enough economy to even have a stake in this game. Roach Queens get into a nice position here. No surface area for these Zealots to really attack a lot of these Roaches, but they just move on into the natural. Oh my god, that's so many Zealots! And he's just overrunning the position. Roach Warren is about to go down. No new Roach Warren has been started yet. We might get a couple transfuses. Nope. 9 more Roaches, and that's all the Roaches we are going to see for a hot minute here. Zergling's not yet joining the fight. That's so many Zealots. How many Zealots do we have? We have 25 Zealots, 5 more being warped in. And the Queen Roach using this hatchery again to get nice positioning. But no drones in the natural. All of them have been slaughtered. They're all just chilling in the main, trying to not die. New Roach Warren has been built in the main, but it's only halfway done. The Roaches do come in. They don't have speed, mind you. And now they can fight on the ramp. Actually, one sentry. Some gas are being mined from by Classic behind this. All these drones are stuck, and this just looks like a meat grinder. But I'm not sure from which side. All these Zealots just running around trying to get something done. Wow, dude, the blocking by Reynor somehow, like all of this surface area that he just minimized time after time after time, but at what cost? 16 drones are down, 40 drones remaining for Reynor, and all of his Roaches are probably going to go down in this exchange. Then Classic isn't even done. Another War Prism joins the fray, warps in a bunch of Zealots. It does get killed by the Queens, and more Roaches are now underway because the Roach weren't finished, but I mean, there's just nowhere to mine for Reynor, and this does not look good. This voidray actually uncontested. All the drones coming off the line. 0-0 Zealots will get destroyed by an immense amount of drones, I suppose. But 32 drones for Reynor here. The spawning pool is about to be targeted down. The Roach Warren was targeted down again. New Roach Warren is being constructed. But, I mean, you are Reynor. You are stuck on slow Roaches on 30 drones. 10 minutes into the game. Protoss opponent is taking a 4th base. I think the writing is on the wall here. I think Reynor will realize it very soon. That if Classic stops attacking, you're probably in bad shape. And I think Reynor is going to find out that there are gas units here. And he's gonna leave the game. Look at this. He moves in, he sees the third base mining gas, he sees the gas units, and he's like, nope. GG. And Classic with a classic all-in build from the Protoss side, going for mineral-only charge lot all-in from a semi, like, 2.5 base-ish. Manages to claim the dub versus Reynor. Reynor going for that 15 hatch again. Love to see it a couple times so we can learn a little bit about the intricacies of that build. Classic now not going for the hatch block, kind of respecting the fact that Reynor is comfortable playing this 15 hatch. Classic, of course. I mean, last game, that looked like a pretty sharp all-in. I was even, like, caught off guard by it. I was like, wait, he didn't take a third and fourth gas. That usually means that he's going balls to the wall, that he's doing a pretty rough attack, right? And then I noticed that he wasn't even mining gas at all, which means it's just zealots, until he can't zealot no more. And then Reynor kind of held by killing the War Prism. And Classic didn't send a second one, because of course that money can be used for more zealots. But he did enough damage so that he can transition it to gas units. But he also had enough money to keep on making zealots, which basically means Reynor was dead to rights. And it just got worse from there. But before the action kicks in, be sure to subscribe, guys. Would help me out. Let's see what happens this game. Cybernetics Core finishing up, so we're probably going to be seeing a Stargate. Nobody's surprised by that. And Reynor, again, 2 drones in gas, rallying in the third one, I would imagine. Or is he just going to keep 2? He just really values that extra mineral mining. I guess that makes sense. Like, the 15 hatch is slightly less economical than 16 hatch. So delaying your speed a little bit to get that, basically catch back up to your 16 hatch timings makes sense to me. 2 more queens coming out? Ooh, that's a lot of queens. So delaying the third base a little bit. But this is very solid versus all those Oracle openers. Dude, remember when we just took third base as a 30 supply? I don't know, I remember being so confused that these guys would stop producing queens to get a third base. Now, third base drone is going out. Adept, though, kind of wants to put this drone in this place. Just make hatchery right there. He can make a hatchery to save the drone. I guess he can make a gas as well. 2 creep tumors coming out. And this drone, oh, did get 1 shot to the face. But now another drone does go out. I mean, you can even let that finish. Ooh, the drone. Oh, sneaky, sneaky. And Classic. Oh, I like this. He's going for the voidray again. So I like it when players open up the same way as the game before, because that immediately starts the mind game. It's like, well, last game, I just all-in'd you with a bunch of zombies. I mean, zealots. And what am I gonna do this game? Like, if you show the exact same thing, it's hard to not assume, right? It's in the back of your head. You're like, don't want to die to those zombies again. I'm just gonna make my Roach Warden a little earlier. I'm just gonna make a couple safety roaches. And before you know it, you're being very inefficient. Probe gets stuck behind the Adept. Classic not happy about that. Look at this money. He wants to build a third base right now, but this probe got stuck. Oh no, so sad, but oh no. Are you kidding me? We see the Fleet Bacon second Stargate. We're going to be seeing some carriers, baby. Is this going to be another 4 carrier push? Who did we see do that? It was a couple games ago. I think it was Trigger against Champ. Yeah. He did it. And then before that, we saw Hydra do it against Mixu. But he did it as a kind of an all-in. He went for 4 carriers into an Adept all-in, which was actually bonkers. So if Classic goes like more of a 4-carrier into ground, like Trigger did, he can then do a Hydra type all-in after that. Like just completely masking build behind build behind build. And that's so cool about StarCraft. And that's so cool about doing the same build order, but then switching it up. Ooh, what is this? Double Tempest. I guess this is really good at denying gold base. But what the hell? Yes, tectonic destabilizers, aka the upgrade that makes them do a shit ton of damage to buildings. Dude, classic. Going double starport Tempest. Oh my god, I want a ladder right after this. I want to do this build. This looks cool. Look at these guys go. Look at the design on these units, bro. Stormgate. Try something like this. Holy shit. They're going to a potential 4th. Oh, could have been really nasty if this wasn't mined out yet. Of course, I feel like Reynor doesn't know any of this. I haven't seen anything that would indicate that. Oh, drone comes out. Oh, don't shoot it. Don't let it make the hatchery. And you can one-shot the hatchery. Oh, Tempest actually go into range. Oof, Tempest does take a bit of damage here, but look at that. Already hitting the queens here. But Reynor with a pretty high queen count himself. Both of these are Tempest, right? One of them is just Zerg Tempest. Oh, more Tempest coming out. We're already up to how many? 4 Tempest? 2 more underway? Dude, how many Tempest do you need to one-shot a queen? 4? 5? We are going to learn. No +1 air for Classic here, but look at this. All these Tempest. Dude, this is cool. This is so cool. How's this not cool? And now he's making void rays. Just making sure that a Roachwell can't stop him. Because a Roachwell could try and snipe this 3rd base, but a couple charged up void rays will make you regret that instantaneously. Reynor has to make sure that his queen count stays healthy here. Oh, look at that. Tectonic stabilizers or destabilizers? Whatever. The orange balls have been revealed. Don't really help with killing queens, though. Oh, 1 Tempest does go down. And the queens are doing their best. No more transfuses, though. And Reynor just goes across the map. Tries to do some damage here because these Tempests, he can't stop the Tempest. Look at these spores. They try to hold them back, but the spores get destroyed. And the roaches are being destroyed by the void rays. We see Flux Veins coming in. The speed for void rays as well. Reynor! Reynor's looking like a chump. Classic is just owning him. What is this? Oh, Reynor does get in the 3rd base here. No units for Classic. Losing a lot of probes here. Reynor's like, who's the chump now, chump? Oh, and he's recalling the Tempest. No! I guess that's okay. He killed the 3rd base, and wow, actually, Star Sense Supreme. There are Corruptors here. Classic didn't know that. He just kind of deducted it from the fact that Reynor didn't have anything else to defend against the Tempest. Reynor did take an extra base. That's a good response to seeing this air tech from Classic. Like, if you have your Tempest over here, they're never gonna get over there without, like, going over creep, and then you have, like, 8 queens that just... And then they have to go all the way around it. That just takes a full minute. So take an extra base if your Protoss opponent is doing this. And now we just see mass void ray, dude. We see it. This is a diamond game. Now win it. These names are fake, boys. Look at this army. Look at the Protoss air army. Oh my god, nice snipe there by Reynor, but Classic gets a little snipe on one of those reinforcing corruptors. And look at these Ferrari void rays. And they turn on their prismatic alignment. Do a little bit of bonus damage to these armored corruptors, but that does slow them down. So basically, the moment they start using their prismatic alignment, they already kind of have to cancel it if they want to keep up with the corruptors. I think they did snipe one. A couple roaches sharking around here. We see +2 range coming out. We might see some Hydras, but I don't know what Reynor wants to do against this. It's so weird. Do you just make more Corruptors? Do you, like, try to get into Vipers? He's getting some Infestor boys. That does seem pretty good. Air units tend to clump up in StarCraft 2. Of course, air units do not have collision with each other when they're moving. Very different from storming it, which I think is something they did very well. Because this is one of the most OP things in StarCraft 2. I want to make a video about it a long time ago. Made a script, never finished it. That because air units are already inherently pretty good in StarCraft 2, like their stats are pretty high for units that also move over unpathable terrain. But just believe me on that part. You can just look at the voidray stats or the Phoenix stats for their cost. They're pretty good for how much they cost. And then they can also clump up, which means you can put a lot of DPS on one hex. And that, I think, is very problematic if you can't get AoE in there. Which is basically why Parasitic Bomb exists, and why Fungal exists, and why Storm has to exist. And why Terran is sad, because, I mean, I guess they have Marines. And Marines are pretty strong, because they clump up decently well for their DPS. But I think especially for air units, it's just kind of annoying that they can deathball so well. You can be in that one hex, and you can have 20 Tempest in that one position that can just barely hit the Nexus or whatever, or can hit that one unit. And Storming Red, that's different, and I like that a lot. I think air units being able to clump is shitty. I think you saw it the most with the time where we did shield battery rushes with Void Rays against Terran, where you would just clump 4 or 5 Void Rays. Oh my god, big fight here. Storms as well. Big Fungals on the air army. We have Corrosive Biles as well to assist. Lots of Queens here. And the Spines. And only 4 Tempests left. These Tempests could take down these Spines in an instant. Could even try to snipe some of these Infestors. Nice Fungal once again. The Corruptors have returned, are ready to rumble. And this is a lot of Void Rays. We have like 10 Void Rays here. And big storms coming down onto the army as well. This Zerg army is pretty softened up. The Protoss army is also pretty softened up. Oh, and Reynor has a bank though. Now he can actually transition into his Hydra Lurker. This defensive position just enough for Reynor to hold on and transition into a slightly better unit composition here. Losing a lot of Roach Ling and some of the Queens even. Corrosive Biles going down again, hitting decent targets. We see the Parasitic Bomb, very nice. Corrosive Biles, Roaches coming in, a Reynor supply just stays high. And he might lose this base, but he's taking a pretty good trade here. Viper's getting more energy. And actually, Classic lost a lot of his power units. All of the Voiders have been cleaned up. Only 3 Tempests left. Tempests are cool. And now we just have Blink Stalkers. Blinks on top of the Lurkers, but there is no detection at all here for the Protoss player. And that means that all of your Stalkers will blow up in an instant. Classic getting a little over-eager there. And now the Corruptors, pretty good unit, get on top of the last air units of the Protoss. And now Protoss only has Stalkers and an Archon. This Archon is more of a cheerleader Archon. And I mean, it's a good thing that Classic has 4 bases, but he has 100 supply and no power units whatsoever. No Robo units, no Stargate units, nothing. Now he's getting a bunch of High Templar again, and he needs them to regen energy to get those storms out. That's his lifeline in this game. If these get fungled and killed by like a bunch of lurkers or something, it might just be curtains. 5th base here for Reynor as well. Now, quickly circling back to my story earlier from the shield battery void ray rushes that we saw versus Terran. I thought those were literally OP. And my point was that shield batteries are amazing. Air units have a pretty high amount of shields compared to health. And, well, yeah. And Void Rays could clump. So they could clump up in one space, fly into the Terran base, snipe one thing, and fly out again. And then they would regen off the shield batteries. And since void rays, for some reason, just have more shields than health, or like the same, which is really weird. I think that's just an artifact from Wings of Liberty, basically, where they probably just chose those values at random because the shield battery didn't exist. Wow, big recall on all of the probes. 4th base from Classic gets denied, but the other 4th base also gets denied. Nice move by Reynor, getting his roaches in there. And how many lurkers is this? This is 17 lurkers. Sorry that I'm interested in other things, guys, because I feel like Reynor is slapping Classic down. Ever since I saw him... well... basically lose all of his Tempest and Void Rays and Stalkers. He's been kind of dead. But he's now transitioning into Carriers, and I mean, Carriers, High Templar, and a Dream, it's possible. I would lose to it, and you would probably as well. Oh my god, the lurkers, dude. Oh my god. Look at the spikes. Oh no. Oh no. 200 versus 140 supply. Classic doesn't even have any money. Long distance mining from his 4th base. And Reynor is just slowly but surely choking him out. Has a greater spire. 2nd spire underway. And Classic just trying to spend his money on as many Protoss units as possible. And look at these air units here. The Viper Corruptor Squad trying to snipe some carriers, and oh my god, these carriers are so expensive. If you lose them like that for nothing, that hurts. And if you're already struggling to remax, it hurts even more. This Zealot trying to get back home. No! Gets stuck because of his comrades being warped in. And they will die together in the Gulag. Four carriers remaining here. Oh! And with that, only 3 carriers remaining, because I didn't see one of them. Oh, 4 carriers, actually. Corruptors! Shoot that thing! Lurkers are taking down the 3rd base. I mean, look at this Congo line of probes. Classic just doesn't have any money. And there's nothing happening on Reynor's side of the map. Reynor can just slowly but surely pick apart the Protoss army here. Gets another carrier. 3rd base for Classic is down, so he has a new 3rd base over here. 34 casual probes on that base. Might as well start long distance mining the next one. And Carrier, or Classic, is just throwing the kitchen sink towards the bases of Reynor. He's like, okay, I'm giga dead. I'm just gonna go and try do critical damage. Maybe get a base race going. Maybe I can get like perfect Archon shots and storms on top of the carry or the Corruptors. Maybe you're more broke than I think you are, but Reynor takes the 2nd game pretty convincingly. After Classic did the coolest build in this series so far, and Reynor does take down a Classic in that 2nd game, and actually going for a cheeky 12 pool here. Hey, hello? Yes, I was just talking about this in the last game, that it's cool, or in the first game, that the Zergs do different openers. And there we go. 3rd opener, basically, from Reynor here. Although he has only done 15 hatch. 16 hatch is just so ubiquitous. Is that a word? That 12 pool openers are a vibe, dude. Like, this is just so fun. Because you can just get units early. You get to play the game right away. You don't have to, like, make drones all the time. And just wait for 5 minutes until you can finally do something. This is like a perfect first game of the day type of build. Where you're like, I just gotta get this game over with. I just gotta get one game out of my system. Just to rub one out, you know. 12 pool. Sends out a drone and goes to the 3rd. Oh, okay. Was making sure that he didn't get blocked. Actually gets another round of links before he makes the hatchery. And of course, this is the most safe build you can do, but also the most aggressive. Does get a hatchery behind this, and now we need to see how many more links does he commit. 10 is kind of the max amount of links you want to make. Any amount after that means you are being all-in-ish. Let's see, he is making 12 links so far. 12 links is still acceptable, but now you really want to think about making drones. Does make an Overlord right now, has a Queen underway, and the links do get on top of the pylon. No Zealot was being created, and Classic actually didn't scout at all. I like this adaptation by Reynor so much. He showed 15 hatch 2 games in a row, and now goes for the 12 pool when Classic doesn't think to go for an early probe scout because there's no hatchery to block anyways. Look at all the probes not mining, trying to get these slippery Reynorlings, but the Reynorlings do get in, and another pylon finishes up. Already lost all of its shields. These lings run away, and a lot of probes are off the line. There's literally no mining here for Classic. He doesn't have any money. Starts one adept. He has money for one adept. Doesn't even manage to finish his wall, and he's just droning behind this. This is 12 lings, baby. It's only lost 2 so far, and oh my god, more and more probes go down. And Reynor takes down Classic with a 12 pool in 2 minutes and 41 seconds. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. First game of the day build, baby. And Reynor taking down Classic with a 12 pool. Yes, goes right back to his 15 hatch. Because if you've just been 12 pooled, you are scouting. That's just a rule. You're not gonna scout after being 12 pooled. So I want to go back to all of the talk about shield batteries and void rays that I was doing earlier, and it was a little bit unhinged because, you know, I wasn't prepared. But to try and make a concise story out of it, or try to cross my T's, dot my I's, I thought that shield batteries are really good. Offensively, they are amazing. Void rays are very good because they are air units, and they shoot both air and ground, which is kind of crazy. And then they also ignore collision with themselves or other air units, and, you know, terrain. So they are crazy units. And then for some reason, they had the same amount of shields as they do health, which shields are kind of more ground, or at least I thought that was the angle that they should take, where they should be like, well, shields are better now because we have shield batteries and the shield upgrade is cheaper, so void rays should have a little bit more health than they have shields, I think. That could have kind of fixed the shield battery void ray rush stuff. And it was very clearly kind of broken. It was just this perfect storm of, whoa, this is already really good in StarCraft. Flying units that don't have collision with themselves, which makes them clump up and have a lot of DPS in a small area. And then also just air units having pretty ridiculous stats in StarCraft, and then also them having quite a few shields compared to the amount of hull that they have. I don't know if that's lore correct, you know, to give the Void Ray the same or even more amount of shields than he has health. I don't remember if they ended up changing that, but I think that should have been the #1 change. Just give the Void Ray a little bit more health and a little bit less shields. And that's actually one of the things that made me quit playing the game for a while. I think in 2019, 2018? Like, there were so many shield battery, void ray, shield battery, tempest, shield battery, robo, cannon rushes going around that... And especially when it became the Void Ray stuff that it was really annoying. Because before that, it was the Robo Cannon Rush stuff. I really enjoyed playing against that. I really enjoyed getting a bunch of Ravagers in my base with Queens. And then they have like a War Prism and like 3 Immortals. And we have that micro battle, right? I have my Queens to zone the War Prism and my Corrosive Biles to zone the War Prism and your cannons. And maybe get a couple lucky shots on your Immortals. And then I have my Ravager spread out. And then I can get some hits in on your Immortals. And then I retreat. And then I come back in when the barrier is gone. And then slowly but surely we kind of like... I felt like there was a lot of skill there. It was a lot of fun. And you could do a lot behind it as well. Is the Zerg going for... maybe a Nidus Worm? Is he going, or does he have a secret base in the corner of the map? Or, you know, you had a lot of ways. You could even go for a Spire play. You had a lot of ways to, like, combat that strategy. You could even do a proxy hatch in my opponent's main base, which was a particular favorite of mine. And Classic, again, let's get into the game, guys. Going for the standard opener that we saw, this is basically a repeat of Game 2. Reynor going for a 15 hatch, Classic going for a voidray opener with a 3rd base, and now gets 2 Stargate fleet bacon. So basically, you can watch the cast from Game 2 up until here, and then we start again. So you miss nothing. Now let's see what Classic does again. I would love to see the Tempest again. If he believes in it as not a meme, I would love to see it again. And he does make 1 Tempest. And he goes for the tectonic destabilizers again. So Classic does believe in his Tempest build. Now we didn't see this at IEM Katowice, the main tournament, I think. At least I didn't see it, because there weren't any Protosses in the round of 16? 8? I don't know. They got fucked. It's because Zerg players are more talented, guys. But we are seeing it here, and this is why I want to cast some of these qualifier games. Cast some of the players that barely didn't qualify, but probably trained their asses off to try and qualify. And Classic is one of them, showing a cool build. He's going for Tempest. 4th base going down for Reynor here, and this particular map doesn't lend itself that well to a Tempest Siege, I feel like. Slow link coming in. Actually, wow, look at Reynor. Didn't even finish speed. Reynor is on top of things here. He knows, or he's sniffing it out, that Classic is just being super passive. And now the Tempest do not yet refuel them. Look at this. They're hiding. They're like, I don't want to shoot this Zergling with my Tempest, because that is when Reynor can start responding. But, I mean, he's already seen this build once. We see quite a few Queens on deck already, but also a lot of Roaches here. 16 Roaches already, 7 more underway from Reynor. And now the Tempests are coming across the map. No response yet from Reynor, so he hasn't seen it now. Reynor definitely sees it now. 1 Creep Tumor does bite to dust. Is he just going to click the hatchery? He is clicking the hatchery right now. He's just clicking the hatchery. Just click it down. Do it. Yes. Just click it down, please. No. No, Classic. No. No, he misclicked. Oh, no. He misclicked. No, he panicked because the Roaches were coming. No. Oh, no. Classic. Oh, no. This is making him look bad. He's such a cool build. Roaches are across the map. Void Rays are being made to combat this. Classic knows that the Roaches are a problem. That's why he's making Void Rays. Oh, no, dude. I mean, maybe he can hold, but this is not looking good for Classic. He has to micro his Tempest whilst also microing back at home. Tempest versus Queens and Roaches versus Probes. Now, the Void Rays do finish, but a bunch of Probes have already gone down. But I think if the Probes get out of here, the 3rd base stays alive, and the Tempest maybe focus on a different base, they can get a lot of value done. Ooh, 4 Tempest. Apparently take down a Queen if it doesn't have full health anymore. 16 Probes have died. Yikes. Oh, Classic panicked so hard that he actually finished his wall up. And another Tempest does go down. 11 Corruptors underway, and if you're Classic, you just want to have a bunch of Blinkstalkers right now. But you only have 47 Probes versus 76 drones. That's a little rough. The kitchen sink is coming in. 2 more Void Rays, and he's just kind of hoping that there's no Spire, I feel like. Because Classic is going all in once again, even bringing the boys. It's only 2 boys, but he's bringing them. Or I guess probes are kind of girls, no? Bringing the girls? I feel like that's more inclusive if we call the SCVs or the bots. The SCVs, we call them boys. And then probes are the gals. I mean, drones are clearly the theys. Oh, and here come all of the corruptors. And these corruptors will end this assault right away. We do have an outpost here for Classic, so we can make a lot of stalkers here. We don't have Blink, though. We don't even have a Twilight Console. Do have a bunch of Void Rays, though, but this is a lot of Queens. This is a lot of Corruptors, and Reynor takes down Classic pretty gosh darn convincingly. Wow. That was just good by Reynor. He kind of just owned him. He was so ready. He was so ready. He didn't even get speed. He was so sure that Classic wasn't doing anything to attack him early, that he just had 3 bases saturated and didn't even have speed. Like, he had a bunch of roaches ready, he had queens ready, he was so ready to receive any type of bullshit from Classic. Because we saw, as soon as Reynor survives the first couple minutes, gets into a more late game scenario with his lurkers, for example, then he just can't be stopped. He will topple Classic. And Classic, I mean, that Tempest build looked really promising. I felt like when he came in and he clicked the hatchery, you just click it, you shift click them back to your base, you don't look at them anymore, and you chrono boost out Void Rays. But instead, he panicked. He probably misclicked his Tempest. It probably F2'd something. Something happened. And then he didn't get the hatchery kill. And then the roaches did a bunch of damage. And then Reynor was also kind of like ahead of the curve. He just kind of made him look like a dumbass. Oh my god. But yeah, I hope to see this build again from Classic in the future. Like, if he just builds 4 Tempest again, and then you build 1 Tempest, 1 Void Ray, and you send 1 extra Tempest over, so you have 5, and then you have 2 Void Rays at home already? You can even send one of your Void Rays, like, to the middle of the map, maybe to meet the roaches that might come. Although, I mean, if the roaches, like, swing around, then you probably miss them, so you probably want to keep your Void Rays at home, and then you have 2 Void Rays instead of 1, and then you have 5 Tempest instead of 6. Maybe that turns this game around. And then if you don't lose all of your probes... Okay, we're just rambling. Guys, thank you all for hanging out. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'm planning to do a couple more games from the Korean qualifiers, because I just haven't featured a lot of Korean players on my channel yet. So look out for that. I'm trying to do some Dota and some more Stormgate in the future. I just have some things going on IRL right now. So we're just going to stick to 3 to 4, or yeah, 3 games of StarCraft, or series of StarCraft a week. And then I hope to sprinkle in a couple other games. You know, we just did our 100th video last video, so I'm pretty happy with where we are. Pretty happy with my casting and how it's been, it has improved quite a bit, I feel like. Like, there's still a long way to go, but it's not complete dog shit anymore. So I'm kind of looking at maybe I can do some small events here and there. I'm just not sure, you know, who to message, where to go, which tournaments still kind of need somebody, you know. I don't feel entitled to anything. So I just want to find a niche somewhere where they need me. Where, for example, the Home Zerg Cup replays. I feel like I really provide a service there because, frankly, the Home Zerg Cup just doesn't have good VODs. Definitely not on YouTube. So I can help the community there a little bit. Yeah, that's a cool way to end it. Alright, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.